Hey everyone.
This is the story of a man.
Yeah, we already know Stanley. Alright. This is NippahMi Gaming, and we're back in the Stanley parable. This confusing ass game of twists and turns and fucking twisted ass
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge.
Narrators and fucking plot holes.
He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others. So
yeah.
The thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Yeah, I know.
When
Terrifying
Stanley came
solitude.
to a set of two open
yes,
doors,
I went to the left.
He entered the door on his left.
But when I get to the stairs, bitch, that's when this is deviating. I'm finding a way to get out of here. The right way.
As Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified to find not a single person here. He decided he would walk up to see his boss, hoping that he would find an answer there.
Yeah, and his boss is missing, also. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nope. Walking downstairs, fuck you.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, of admitting that he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, was it really worth taking that risk?
Yep.
All because he believed everyone had disappeared? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley.
What did occur?
He thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. Everyone I know simply vanishing out of the blue, there's almost no other explanation for it. And a nagging fear began to creep up in his mind. Questions that had been there all along. He just hadn't put his finger on them.
You can't say you're crazy.
For example,
and be crazy.
Why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Because you're doing it, dude!
For that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Was he just walking around in circles? Where am I, he thought.
That's a good question, Stanley.
And the more he found himself unable to answer these questions, the more questions continued to arise, until he came to the issue that had been slowly boiling until he could ignore it no longer. Why is there a voice in my head, dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Really? Really?
Every door slammed shut. No, Stanley screamed. I need to get out of here. I need to know that there's something out there. I need to know it's not just all in my head. And he screamed and clutched at his skull as the voice grew harsher and the music in the background rose higher and higher.
What the hell?
And then, moments before collapsing to the ground, Stanley clenched his fists and screamed to anyone who might be listening,
What?
I'm not real! I'm not real! Don't believe any of it! None of it's real!
What?
And then everything went black.
No, Stanley! What?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What? What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
I'm so confused.
She got dressed, went to work, clocked in, clocked out, and then she walked home. But her walk on this day was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Moments after seeing him, she would turn, run to the nearest police station, and call for an ambulance. But for just a few brief seconds, she merely stood there, unable to move.
This is twisted.
The tragedy was not the death of a single person. It was that she would never know this man's story, never hear in his own words what had happened to him, or what he believed had happened to him. For to know these things
That's a really
would
weird
be
position
to exist
Stanley died
inside
in.
the head of the man himself. So all she could do was observe from a distance and pity him. But Mariella had places to be and people to meet with, very important people, whose impressions of her would affect her career and indeed the rest of her life. She stood there for only a moment, looking down at the body, and then she ran.
Yeah, run. Because seriously, this place is twisted. Oh my god, I still have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, new game. Let's do this. Okay, so maybe I need to just be quicker than I have been, and while I'm down there, I should run really quickly through everything.
Co-workers. He never functioned well by himself, and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Okay,
When
how about
Stanley
this?
came to a
I'm
set
going to
of two
power
open
the
doors,
generator
he
instead
entered
of
the door
destroying
on his
it.
left.
Or something. I don't know. I don't know. Because, I mean, what are the answers? Where is everyone? What am I doing here? This doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Stanley entered the lounge. He was horrified to find not a single person here. He decided he would walk up to see
Who was
his
that
boss,
girl that was talking to
hoping
me
that
when
he
I
would
died in
find
the
an
first
answer
video?
there.
Seriously. So many questions. Okay. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to
Nope.
his boss's
Going downstairs
office.
again. This time. And this time I'm running. Go,
But
go, go, go.
Stanley just couldn't do it.
Run.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, of admitting that he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that.
Fuck you.
And in such a competitive economy, was it really worth taking that risk?
Yep.
All because he believed everyone had disappeared?
Oh,
His boss would think he
no.
was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
You're not crazy, Stanley.
Everyone I know simply vanishing out of the blue, there's almost no other explanation for it.
Fuck!
And a nagging fear began to creep up in his mind.
Oh, God. Okay, I can't handle that. I can't handle that. Let's redo it. You can only handle one mental breakdown per fucking thing. Okay, so let's do this
Stanley
again.
decided to go to the staff
Oh,
lounge,
God, this narrator's starting to
checking
really
his
get to me.
co-workers. He never functioned
Well, by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others. So the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. I hate you.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Yes, I go to the
he
left, I
entered the door on
understand.
his left.
Oh, God, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing right now?
As Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified to find not a single person here.
Yeah, obviously,
decided he would
Stanley,
walk up
you're
to see
gonna be
his
murdered,
boss,
man.
hoping that he would find an answer there.
Oh, man. Yeah, of course I go to the boss. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah.
Entering his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. It was at this point that he began to feel dizzy and a little sick, and even thought he might pass out when suddenly he noticed a keypad next
remember
to
the
the
code.
filing cabinet in the corner of his boss's office.
Yeah, it's pretty
Stanley
peculiar.
had never seen this panel before and had no idea what combination of numbers would produce any result. In fact, only Stanley's boss knew this, since the panel withheld access to the boss's greatest, darkest secret. And so he had assigned the keypad a combination that only he could possibly know. The number of his freshman dorm number in college. 1957.
That's what I put in
But
earlier.
of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Yeah, I put that in.
Yet
Fuck you.
incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep, it is
Stanley
amazing.
ventured
Stanley's got a fucking
into
lot of
the newly
skills.
opened
Luck
panel
being one of them,
as
I
he grew
guess.
deeper into the bowels of the building. Stanley had no idea where he was or what this place held. And just as he began to think he might not discover a thing, he emerged into a long room to find
A bunch of fucking monitors, yes.
Really?
Including mine. Right there.
rows of
427.
screens with a number above it. Stanley noticed, however,
Oh,
that these were not
God.
random numbers, but the number of employees who worked in the building, his co-workers. Even his own number, 427,
Why is
had
it
a place
only
on the wall.
specific
But why
people?
is setup so elaborate, he asked. Was this simple surveillance or something even more? And as if in answer to his question, the wall slid open before him, revealing the ultimate truth of the situation. An enormous control panel Stanley discovered,
Wait.
but not one
What
that
is that?
controlled simple machinery. Buttons were labeled with emotions. Happy,
Sad.
levers and knobs controlled actions. Walking, eating, doing work, or watching TV. Every input on this device monitored not the functions of a machine,
But of a human being, yes, okay. And then I get angry and
The
fucking
reality
lightning
began
shoots
to
down
sink in.
from the generator because
Stanley,
this is a
like
great
so many
powering
other
system.
people,
Come on,
reduced
hurry
to
up.
images on a monitor, had been under someone's control, always at the mercy of this machine. Could this have been the only reason employee number 427 was content with
Why
his
say
boring
employee
job?
number? I'm
That a
Stanley.
machine had altered his emotions to accept it blindly? he began to feel an unbridled rage, and at the peak of his anger,
Something happened.
a spark. Stanley looked up and saw the generator overhead, still providing some small amount of power to the machine, keeping it alive. And knowing that this generator was all that kept the controls running, Stanley moved to the ladder in the back of the room and began to climb towards the rafters.
Of course. Because Stanley's a smart guy. He listens to everything he's told, and it's ironic, and yes, I get it.
The higher Stanley climbed, the closer he felt to freedom.
The further from enslavement. Yep, still no idea what happened to his friends, but I mean, that's all cool because you're about to be free, Stanley. I mean, fuck you, guy. Such a dick. Alright. Engage generator disable. Engage. Fuck you, narrator. You didn't see this coming, did ya? Yeah, I'm a rebel.
Oh, Stanley. You didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Yeah, I did.
After it kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yep.
Stanley. Stanley. I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were meant to let it go, turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do better than that.
Fuck you!
I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you have. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized that he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system.
What?
In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
You
How
dick!
long until detonation then? Oh, let's make it say, 2 minutes. Now, this is making things a little more fun, isn't it?
You son of a bitch!
Go ahead. Play with those controls all you like. The real controls are where I'm sitting.
You son of a...
Did you really ever believe you held any power? Did you not think I knew what I was doing?
Open.
When I erased your co-workers and turned off the machine, I was offering you freedom, an escape. I didn't have to do that. I've done this story many times, and I don't always set you free. Sometimes you just sit there, day after day after day, doing your job forever, and then dying alone.
Fuck you.
But when I actually give you the freedom to control your own actions, it's not enough. I let you go, and you trapped yourself just the same.
Nope, I'm gonna find a way out of this.
You weren't made to handle this sort of responsibility, I'm afraid.
No, I'm totally made for it.
But you know what you were made for? Pushing.
Dude,
buttons.
when I figure out how to solve this,
You
I'm
get
gonna
it
kill
now?
you.
Now I'm enjoying this. Tell you what, I'll throw some extra time on the clock just because I'm having so much fun. Here we go. You see, I want to watch you for every long second you try to puzzle this out. After all, it should make sense, right?
Fuck!
The timer, the nuclear detonation, the mysterious facility, it's all here. This is a video game. Except for one thing there, hero. You've got no weapon, no vehicle. You don't even know where you're going.
Yep, I don't.
When you saw that timer, you just instinctively started trying to find an exit, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
In fact,
Ah!
I bet you're still looking for a way out. I bet you're clicking on everything in this room, trying to open doors or vents or something and solve the puzzle. As though this game has a solution, as though it can be won.
It can be.
That timer is not a catalyst to keep things moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. It's the moment when the hero realizes that despite his best efforts, he is powerless to his environment.
Shit.
And then he lets go.
I'm not letting go.
He surrenders. And he dies.
Nope, no, no, nope.
30 seconds, Stan. 30 seconds. Until a boom, and then nothing. No ending to this story, just you dying. I suppose you could have gotten an actual ending if you played along, but that just wouldn't have been your style, would it? Instead, you'll perish knowing that the only choice you made here was to turn on that machine and to start this timer. But you won't be alone, because I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here to watch every second of your inevitable life from the time we fade in.
You're
until the
twisted,
moment I
dude!
say, happily ever
Oh,
after.
come on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fucking son of a bitch. Bastard motherfucking god. Son of a... Oh!